Hello folks, your Belleville Car Guy here. It was about just over a year ago. I decided, I'm gonna lease a new truck. I want to lease it, and I want this particular truck. So I run a search, call a few dealers, and I'm like, I want this truck. One left in Ontario, literally one dealer, one vehicle left. So I figure out who it is. I give them a call. I think I asked for the general manager, the dealer principal of this particular dealer, and I say, yeah, you have this truck, and I'd like to lease it. He says to me, he says, well, we're not promoting leasing right now. I said, well, I want to lease it regardless. That's how I want it. I only want it for 36 to 48 months, and then I'm going to get a new truck. I want it with a new warranty. That's what I want. He's like, oh, okay, and then not really much motivation into it. And that made me think, well, you really need to hone down on how you want to pay for a vehicle, how you want to own a vehicle before you start shopping. There's a few little questions you can ask yourself to figure out what makes sense for you financially and for vehicle ownership, maintenance, etc. First one is, do you want to keep your vehicle for 10 plus years, drive it into the ground, not have payments for a majority of the ownership? If that's the case, put a little bit of money down, finance it, and then you own it as fast as you can, or as whatever makes sense financially. Now another question you need to ask is, how much driving do you do? That's the main one. That's one of the first questions I ask. How much driving do you do? Well, I take it to and from work 5 days a week, and I visit family in Toronto, Quebec, maybe once, twice, every couple of months. Oh, okay, good. So I can actually figure out, I can just hop on Google and I can figure out, okay, here's your commute to work, times it by 5, throw in a little bit of leisure kilometers every week, times it by 52. I can figure out roughly what you're driving every year and even account for some leisure driving. So if that's under 30,000 kilometers, leasing does make sense, but only if you're one to trade in your vehicle every 4 to 6 years, which most people do, and they don't think of the time. It doesn't make sense. So one question you need to ask yourself is, do I like to keep my vehicle a long time? Perfect. That puts you down the avenue of financing, putting money down on financing, paying cash. Next question you got to ask yourself is, do I get a new vehicle every 5 years anyway? Okay. Now, even if what you hear about leasing, I don't own the vehicle, this, that, and the other thing, it just, I always have a payment, stuff like that, it still makes sense. I see time and time again, especially with the millennials, the millennial generation, myself included, they'll go sign a loan for 84, 72 months, and then after 48 to 60 months, they want to get a new vehicle, and they have to have a new vehicle. Whether it be the vehicle they purchase is now rough and needs a lot of repairs, they just want something fresh, they want to be in warranty, they're scared about something. Regardless, leasing generally makes sense for more people than are leasing, for sure. That being said, if you drive a lot of kilometers, etc., that takes you out of that area, you need to kind of figure out, well, do I need to put some money down? Do I need to make sure this term makes sense for when I'm going to trade it back in, so you don't have what's called negative equity. You don't owe more on the vehicle than what it's worth as a trade-in. And that's something I'm really fighting to help people to realize, just financially, what makes the best sense. Now, some people do, and if you actually follow it, it makes sense. You can sign the longest term loan on a vehicle and say, okay, I'm going to pay this off faster. I'm going to throw my tax return every year at it. I'm going to throw extra money at it. Most loans are open. That's great. Okay, so I decided to do that. Oh, life happens. Expenses come up. I'm getting comfortable with just paying this. I want to go on a trip. Then you fall in behind where you get to 5 or 6 years. Oh, I need to get a new vehicle for whatever reason. Oh, I owe more money on it than what it's worth. So there is somewhere to look before you purchase. And that's what I love to sit down, even if you're not ready, to kind of figure out before you start your search. Because leasing may make sense, doing the long-term payment, pay it off faster may make sense, as long as you do it. Now, I notice time and time again people don't do it. There's many different options to go over. I look forward to having the opportunity to go over those options with you. Just a few highlights. Remember, especially through this, where everyone's kind of slow right now for funds and everything. If you refer someone to me to buy a vehicle, you get $50 every time. No cap. You can make $500, you can make $1,000 working with me. There is a cash giveaway on my page. If you find that, I'm giving away $50 next week, I believe, sometime. Get in on that. It's really easy to participate. Really appreciate everyone following me. Any questions, concerns, direct message me, or just use this number here, text or call. Have a great day.